Well, a new kind of political attack may be emerging on the campaign trail. Wealth becoming a major issue. The president's re-election may be planning on using Mitt Romney's wealth against him, not to mention his stewardship in venture capital. A winning strategy? Alexis McGill Johnson is executive director of the American Values Institute. Brad Blakeman, former deputy assistant to President George W. Bush. Good to see you both. Brad, let me start with you. Sources in the Obama campaign seem to think that all of these attacks on Romney, especially the attacks on his wealth, his tenure at Bain Capital, will damage him among independent and swing voters. And in fact, I must tell you, Brad, the exit polls in South Carolina, where those attacks were voluminous, showed that independents turned away from Romney in favor of Gingrich. So does this only help the president?
No, Greg. If we look at the Fox News poll of just last week, 62% of independents are leaving this president, and they're not just leaving him because they don't like his policies, they're angry with this president. And I think they're looking for a success, somebody who's run a business, who's also been involved in government, and Mitt Romney should not run away from his success. He should herald it, and the president has a lot of explaining to do because he's never held a private sector job yet. He's a multimillionaire. Yeah. How did he make his money? Off his brand, where Romney made his money in the trenches, in business, sure, taking risk. So I say to the Democrats, bring it on. The American people want to elect a successful president and not somebody who's all talk, no action, who has a record to prove it.
Alexis, the Obama team may think that Romney's experience as a venture capitalist is a liability, but take a look at this. We'll put it up on the screen. This is our most recent Fox News poll, different than what Brad cited. It finds that it's an asset by a 54 to 30% margin. More voters think it's a good thing for a candidate to have that kind of financial knowledge rather than a bad thing because the candidate might be too close to Wall Street. So is the Obama campaign's argument here about Romney mistaken?
No, not at all. And first I have to say, this is just not an Obama team strategy. This is actually a family fight that was started inside the GOP with Newt Gingrich and his billionaire benefactor, Adelson. So the idea that we're attacking Romney and his record at Bain is not something that's just coming from the Obama campaign. But on the question of whether or not the experience in venture capital is an asset, I have to say, I think that not all private equity is bad, and I think most Americans see that. The question is, during his tenure at Bain, was he creating wealth and creating jobs, or was he actually shifting the burden onto the taxpayers? And when you look at the record, I think there are some real questions that Americans will have to take a look at.
Well, you know what, Brad? 2 weeks ago, a majority of independents had a favorable view of Mitt Romney. Then came, the tax returns, the Swiss bank account, the Cayman Island investments, and so forth. And now independents have an unfavorable view of Mitt Romney by a 2-to-1 margin, that according to the most recent poll out by the Washington Post. In contrast, 51% of independents have a positive view of President Obama. That's his highest since last April.
Well, Greg, look, we've seen in just a short week how Mitt Romney's fortunes have turned around when he had the ability at several debates to explain his wealth, to explain to the American people how he earned his money, and he earned it the old-fashioned way. He rolled up his sleeves. He didn't inherit his money. He earned his money, and he created tens of thousands of jobs doing so. So I think if it came down to Romney and Obama, I think there's no question that the American people want to go with experience in business because we already have a failed record on the economy of a president who promised that if his policies were followed, unemployment wouldn't reach above 8%. We know that unemployment is almost double that in urban areas, and it's as high as 9%. And not only that, but jobs are being lost, tens of thousands of jobs in the very areas who supported this president the most. So his record isn't good. The American people understand that. They gave him a chance, and now they're going to look for change.
You know what, Alexis? While Mitt Romney has surely been tested with all kinds of accusations here, maybe that actually makes him a stronger candidate should he actually win the nomination. That's a big if, I admit. But here's why. Because all of his potential liabilities will have been exposed well in advance, allowing the electorate to sort of absorb all of it, maybe accept it, and it permits the candidate to hone his defense of those potential liabilities, and he certainly elevated his debating skills after 19 debates. I think we saw that on Thursday. So what about that?
Indeed he has, Greg, and I mean, if anything, he's definitely showing a good learning curve after running for the last 16 years. So I applaud him for that, and I applaud him for being able to be a businessman and a wealthy man from scratch. I do think, though, that the through line that we're going to see from his record at Bain through the tax plan that he's proposing is his intent to shift the burden onto middle-class taxpayers. And I just do not believe the American electorate is going to support any more subsidies of the wealthy at the expense of working-class Americans. So I think he's going to have a real challenge, even if he gets himself together.
All right, Brad, you've been following what's happening in Ohio. You have a bit of breaking news to tell us about?
I do. I'm here in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the northeast Hamilton County. Republicans had their annual pancake breakfast straw poll. And this is the first kickoff of the election season here in Ohio. And I'm here to report to you that Romney got 48% of the vote, Santorum got 22%, Newt got 24%, and Ron Paul got 6%. So a little good news out of Ohio, a battleground state for Romney today. Yeah, all right, indeed. Brad, thank you for that. Alexis McGill Johnson, good to see you as well.
You too, guys.
Appreciate both of you being here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Heather?
Well, the